Good morning, folks. Welcome to Camp Freehold, and this is Mandy speaking. I'm going to make a video with a collection of the different breakfasts I'm making. This is chocolate chip pancakes, as you can see. What I'm doing is making a whole bunch of extras so that I can put them in the freezer and the kids can help themselves to breakfast. Ta-da! So what I do as I go, because the kids were eating breakfast, I keep them in the extras in the oven with the oven on. But now that the kids are done eating their breakfast, I'm turning that off, and I'll just continue to stack them in there to make them fairly even in size, because if you have kids, you know how silly they can be about foods not being all the same size. I use my handy dandy scoop. I love these ice cream scoops. I use them for cookies. I use them for muffins, pancake mix. And that way they're all approximately the same size. So, oops, those were a little too close. That's okay though. And then I sprinkle on the chocolate chips. And then when they're done, I will flip them, bake them, cook them on the other side for just a little while. And then I will just finish up all this batter. Some of them I'm going to leave plain because Bear doesn't like chocolate chip pancakes. I know, it's weird. But that's how he feels about it. So I make him some plain ones. And I make the other kids some chocolate chip ones. For the next size, for the next step, not size, I put a single layer of pancakes on the baking sheet, and then I'm going to stick them in my freezer here. I long for the days when I had an upright freezer, but this is what we got, so. We'll freeze these individually, and then once they're frozen, we will put them into Ziploc baggies. So that way they don't all stick together. Because when you freeze them all in one clump, you have to take them out as one clump, which is fine if you're trying to feed a bunch at once. But this way they can grab one at a time and stick it in the toaster oven, and they can have their own. This is day 2 of breakfast making to go in the freezer. Today I'm making breakfast sandwiches. What I did was I split all of these English muffins, and now I'm going to toast them in the oven. I took some melted butter, and I'm going to put melted butter on each one, and then I'm going to put them in at 400 degrees. I have no idea how long. I'll time and let you know. The English muffins took about 13 or 14 minutes. In the next step, I have my pan's hot, and I have 12 eggs that I've beaten together. What I'll do is I'll make big omelets and just cut them up into 12 pieces to fit onto our English muffins. Whoop, better stop. Okay, so we're gonna let those cook next. Here are the omelets I was gonna make. I'm getting used to my electric stove, this new electric stove, and I had it heat up a little too high, but that's okay. It's not inedible, it's just a little crunchy. What I'm gonna do next is cut these into 12 equal pieces, or equal-ish pieces, and to put on the sandwiches. Alright, well, here I put egg on each bottom half of the English muffin. I really think I could have gotten away with less than 1 egg per English muffin sandwich. I think probably next time I will just do 6 eggs per dozen, because that's pretty thick, and especially considering you put meat on there. So I have 4 pieces of pre-cooked breakfast sausage. I'll put that on some. And then I have ham for others. So that's a lot of protein in one sandwich. So like I said, next time, less eggs. The next thing I'm going to do is put cheese on each one. I'm going to break these cheese slices in half because they don't need a full cheese slice per sandwich. There we go. And some of my kids don't like cheese, so I don't want to waste a lot of cheese if they end up pulling it off. I know it's weird, they don't like cheese, but what are you going to do? Here they are with all cheesed and lidded, and now what we're going to do is wrap them in saran wrap very tightly, and then I'll put all of them into freezer, like one big freezer bag. I might separate them by sausage or ham, maybe not, we'll see. Here we are on the next day, and I am making breakfast burritos this morning. This is 2 pounds worth of sausage that I got on discount from Food Lion yesterday. I really scored big, got a lot of meat, but yesterday it was $2.93 for a pound. So I'm only going to use half of it, and the rest I'm going to put in my very fancy Chinese takeout container from ages ago. And I will keep that other half probably for dirty rice or something like that. I might just freeze it. I think I'll probably eat it later this week, though. Probably. Today's Friday. Matt and I are going out. Someone bought us tickets for a barbecue, so we're going to that on Saturday. So perhaps Sunday we could have dirty rice for lunch. Although there are a lot of leftovers, so we will see. All right. My next step is I'm going to scramble some eggs in here with the sausage. So that's the next thing I'm going to do. Alright, now we're at the assembly phase. I cooked the egg with the sausage. So I put a little bit of cheese down. And then I will add some sausage and cheese, or sausage and egg to it. Now you don't want to do too much because otherwise it's hard to roll them up. Plus you get more that way. There we go. Alright, you fold each edge like that. And then you flip it over. And you want to try and keep it tight. And then you roll that edge, flip up, keep rolling, keep it tight, and then you set them seam down. What I'm going to do is fill up this tray, freeze them, and then wrap them. The reason I do that is they're easier to wrap once they're frozen. And that one probably is a little overstuffed, but that's okay because you see where it started to tear there. So we want to try to avoid that. So I'll put less in next time. And so the next step is I'll fill this tray and put it in the freezer. I had enough to make 12 burritos. Barry ate one, that's why there's only 11 there. And then I have these left over. So I have no more tortillas thawed. Because I thought they came in 12 counts, not 10 counts. So, oh well. Anyway, so I thought I had enough, but there's just a little bit left here. I'll probably have it for breakfast once I break my fast at around 10:30, 11. And I'll have it on some 0-carb tortillas. Probably anyway, or the kids will eat it. I don't know. We'll see. But so there's more breakfast going on there. So that would have been, if I had all 12, that would have been 3 breakfasts for all the kids. But here we go. So these will go into the freezer, and then I will wrap them in cellophane and then stick them in a freezer rag. This is our last freezer breakfast for this batch of this video. Whatever. You know what I meant, right? And here I'm using the Universal Muffin Recipe mix from Amy Decisions, the Tightwad Gazette. In here I have eggs and sugar. And I have milk and olive oil. Actually, it's not milk. It's, the recipe calls for milk, but this is actually fat-free, half and half that I actually accidentally bought. I don't understand how it can be half and half and fat-free, but we're going to use it for baking because, frankly, it's just too disgusting to put in coffee. Plus, it has sweetener in it. Has 1 gram of carb, so I don't use it anyway. We're going to mix that all together. I have 2 cups of pureed banana. I had frozen bananas that I needed to get out of the freezer. That's kind of redundant, right? Frozen bananas in the freezer? Yeah, that's where frozen things live. Anyway, so I'm going to put that in there. Don't worry, I'm going to scrape that, and we're going to scrape that in there, and we're going to mix that all together. Okay, next we have all the wet ingredients are mixed together, and now I'm going to add, this is flour, white flour, and oatmeal, because I had oatmeal that I need to get out of the cardboard container, and I wanted to use, so I'm going to put that in there. And I added some vanilla. I didn't show that. So I'm going to add the dry ingredients, which are the flour, the oatmeal, the salt, and the baking powder. I have these silicone muffin cups, whatever you want to call them, tin liners, whatever. I spray them because I know they say that they're non-stick. I don't believe them. And here's the batter completed. I'm going to use my handy dandy ice cream scoop and fill up all these, and I'm going to bake them at 400 degrees for 18 minutes, I think. But we'll let you know. I do plan to put the cinnamon and sugar on top because I have a little bit that needs to be used and I want to get rid of it. That's the name of the game here in my kitchen. Use up the stuff we want to get rid of. Here is the first batch. They took about 20 minutes at 400 degrees. I made a double batch of the recipe and got 34. She said the recipe only gets a dozen per recipe, but I make them smaller. Just as a pro tip to keep your kids cut down on waste. If you make muffins or pancakes or anything, make them smaller. Because they can eat less than you think, and they can always eat more. A chef I used to work with used to say that people don't necessarily want more food, they just want more pieces of it. So that's why I tend to keep the kids' stuff small. And they can have more than one if they want them. And that is, we will freeze these after they've cooled. I will take them out of the wrappers and freeze them. And that is it for this particular series on freezer breakfasts. If this kind of thing is of interest to you, like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye. Remember, do what you can with what you got.